what quality men want in a woman. In this video, you will discover what specific qualities men are really drawn to that make him commit to you, be mesmerized to you, and cherish you forever. Now, of course, if you are ready to learn how to be the most attractive woman, then pop into the comment section. I am ready. I'm Antia, founder and creator of the Magnetize Your Man method. And look, this is the channel where we magnetize your man so that the man you want, desires, and pursues you forever, right? It's all about the action as well, not just the feeling. So if you like my background, anything I share, anything I wear, do me a favor, give it a like, and also don't forget to hit that bell, that subscribe button, so you get notified for more juicy videos coming your way. And lastly, sharing is caring. So send a message out to your girlfriends and invite them to a view party. All right, so let's go ahead and dive right into the things that quality men are looking for in a woman. Number 6 is the queen. So what I'm going to do today, because I had like a popular request, is actually go through the 6 feminine archetypes. And ideally, quality men want to have a balance of those 6 feminine archetypes. Now, what are archetypes? Those are energies inside of yourself. So you see, you have a way of being, a way of being is the best way to describe it, right? That also then leads to a way of feeling, the way of sensing your world, the way how you actually, your perspective, how you see things. That's the energy inside of you. So I'm going to go through the 6 energies, the 6 feminine energies today. And so we're going to start with the energy of the queen. Okay, so a quality man is really looking for that queen because guess what? He is the king. So there is also, of course, 6 counter energies inside of a man, right? There's 6 masculine archetypes. And so oftentimes I hear my women say, I want to call in my man. I want to attract my man. I want to attract my king. Well, how do you think you're going to do that? You're going to do that by stepping more into your queen. Now, what does that actually mean? Now, the queen is what I call the middle ground between the bitch and the doormat. And yes, I'm using those terms intentionally because they have a lot of charge and I'm designed to have a lot of charge. So the doormat, right, is like highly approachable. She's highly agreeable. She collapses all of her frames, all of her opinions, her sense of self, her sense of confidence into the other person, right? She emerges, she melts. There's like no boundaries. And guess what? As a consequence, she's being taken for granted and being walked all over. Now, on the opposite side of the spectrum is the bitch. So the bitch is unapproachable, right? So she gets respect from men, but she's really intimidating. Right? She's also much more on the masculine side. She's rather disconnected. She's cold, right? The doormat is very warm, right? Very loving. Unfortunately, not to herself, to other people. And the bitch is just cold, ice cold, right? It's like an ice queen. So the queen is in the middle. So the queen has no problems setting boundaries without feeling guilty. However, she will always do it from a compassionate place. So what the queen is not going to do is she's not going to be condescending, right? She's not going to look down on a man, right? She's also not going to emasculate a man as well, right? It's going to be a power with versus a power over, right? It's going to be a power with versus a power over. And that, of course, helps her to trust her own power. So that's one thing that a quality man for sure is looking for in his woman. As a matter of fact, there was a very big and very successful entrepreneur, 8-figure successful entrepreneur, may have been even 9 figures. And he had his online dating profile written by an expert. And he said, one thing that I want to have in there is I'm going to treat you like a queen. There you go. There you have the queen, right? He's a quality man. But you have to know that you are one. So look, this is the thing, right? Like they're not going to convince you that you are a queen. You already have to know that. You already have to hold yourself as that, because otherwise it's going to be insulting for him that every time when he makes you a compliment, you don't believe him. Right? He's like, you're already not trusting me. We're just getting to know each other. And you're already blocking. You're already thinking I'm just saying things to say things. Quality man is not going to put up with that. A quality man wants you to hold your own value, that you can receive all the attention, all the compliments that he gives you genuinely, right? So I'd love to hear from you. Where are you watching from, country or state? So let's go at number 5, which is called the little girl. Now I call the little girl playfulness, because there's like little girl, like what does that mean? There's a lot of qualities attracted to it. So playfulness is the biggest piece. And I just watched Joe Millionaire. It's a documentary. It's sort of like a reality TV show on, I found safe Hulu, I think. And there's this one woman, her name is Amber, and she's always like heavy. It's like always deep conversations, which, by the way, vulnerable for me to admit, that used to be me. Like when I was dating, I was always like going to into analysis and psychoanalysis and like deep conversations. And the man would always tell me the deepest, darkest secrets. And then they were like just gone. They just stopped off the earth. They just flaked on me, right? They just ghosted me, and I never knew why. Well, it was because my little girl wasn't married with that depth. There's nothing wrong with the depth, but you want to bring in the little girl playfulness as well, right? The spontaneity, the creativity, the innovation. That's something that the man looks for as well, right? Because what really happens is, from an archetypical standpoint, so from an energetic standpoint, is the highest polarity is between the wild man, and I will go into that because we'll talk about the wild woman, and the little girl archetype, right? So that's the highest level polarity, because when the man is in his wild man, he's in his most masculine. When a woman is in her little girl, she's in her most feminine. So this is the opposite side of the spectrum, and they're going to be highly attracted to it, right? So there's got to be that little girl, like playfulness, spontaneity, creativity. Looking for that for sure. Now, like I just already said, the wild man, meaning the wild woman. So let's go into that. What does that mean? So the wild woman is really the most primitive energy that you have, right? So we sometimes say like that human animal that's inside of yourself, that rawr energy. It's very grounded. It's highly embodied, but it's not very sophisticated. So it's like really when we say we're letting our hair down, we're just going to go wild, right? We're going to go wild and crazy. And this has actually like a couple different functions. For one, the wild woman has a healthy killer instinct. So for example, there's professions where you see the wild woman represented really well, which is in the boardroom, like high-level CEOs, right, that have to actually like go through tremendous throat-cutting negotiations. Also lawyers, attorneys, right, need to have that killer instinct that the wild woman has. Now, what's important about that is the wild woman has a lot of power. And so if we don't embody the wild woman, then we are actually afraid of our own inner wild woman. And as a consequence, we suppress her. And then what happens is when we suppress her, she comes out sideways. She can come out as a bitch, as a spiky comment, as a passive-aggressive move. However, when you're actually grounded in your wild woman archetype, in your wild woman energy, you own it. That's also when you bring in respect as well, right? You're also getting respect from your man. The wild woman also comes in when it comes to giving birth, right? I mean, I gave birth a few months ago, and it was quite the ride. And let me tell you, I was never so close to my energy of the wild woman, right? So we have all those parts inside of ourselves. So it's really like anchoring, grounding, connecting with all of them. Now, look, if you like this content, again, do me a favor, like it, subscribe it, and of course, share it with all your lovely ladies. Number 3 is the warrioress. Now, I sometimes also call it the worker bee. And this is not so much like that you're not already embodying that, because most women that come to me are very strong in the worker bee, but they get the job done. Now, what oftentimes happens is there is a distorted, a disconnected relationship with the worker bee, right? So like we're making the worker bee wrong because she's not really fun, right? And she usually leads to diminishing polarity in dating. However, she's very necessary because you can't just collapse, right? You want to have like your own place, your own car, you want to have your own job so that you can hold your own in a relationship. Now, you don't want to lead with that. So this is where a lot of women go wrong, where they're saying, you know what? I'm the CEO of this company, right? Like, yes, I won this championship. The Warrioress is also very competitive too. I did all those things, right? Because a man is like a quality man who's coming from a masculine place, who's grounded, aligned, congruent, right, is not really interested in that. However, you want to have a healthy relationship with it so you don't have to talk about it the whole time, right? So he likes it in like everyday life, but not when you lead with it like on your dates. So I hope that's helpful for you. And of course, for all of those, let me know questions in the comment section and we can talk about it more. So number 2 is the priestess. The priestess is the most difficult to understand. So the priestess is actually the most elusive energy of all, because she is the energy that asks for more. What else is there, right? So she's more the energetic component of us, right? The priestess can show up when we, for example, meditate, when we pray, when we connect with God, when we get intuitive hits. Intuition comes from the priestess energy, right? So the priestess energy, the wise woman energy, is very non-attached, extremely wise, and sometimes it's definitely mysterious. That's another piece too, right? Because you don't know what you don't know. So when you're allowing yourself to be with your priestess energy, that's when you actually reach what we call self-actualization. Now that's on the top of Maslow's hierarchy. So if you never studied Maslow's pyramid, the hierarchy, go ahead and study that, the basic needs, and then the ultimate is self-actualization, right? So that's what we are all heading towards. And how do we head towards that? Is by learning, trusting the intangible, trusting the unknown. That's where your priestess energy helps you with. Now, why is that important? Because that priestess energy actually helps with growth, with expansion in a relationship. So you want to make sure you never plateau. You hear sometimes couples actually breaking up, or there's divorces happening even after 10, 20 years of marriage and having kids. Why is that the case? Because there's oftentimes either a non-existing relationship with the priestess energy or like a distorted relationship with the priestess energy, right? So you want to actually make sure you harness that one as well. Also, it's going to help you when a man doesn't text you back right away. So let's say you're more of an anxious attachment style and you're anticipating the man to text you back and he's just not. The priestess energy has really helped me to pull back and to really say okay, let me be with myself. I got to actually focus on myself. I got to focus on my own self-growth, right? On my own connection to myself, trusting God even more, surrendering even more. And finally, number 1 is the lover. Okay, so the lover is that very slow and sensual energy. It can also be the seductive energy. But it's it really takes time to actually integrate. So when you have a lot of experiences in your life, when you go on a lot of dates, or you have a lot of activations, meaning you're really excited about a man, or you had a lot of experiences that you enjoyed, the lover will help you to integrate it. Because the lover is a slower energy. The lover will also help you to appreciate the moment even more. The lover will help you to connect more with the taste of the wine, or the taste of the ice cream, or the sound of the music. right? So the lover will actually help you to get more access to your unconscious mind, which is good, right? Because you want to anchor beautiful experiences that you want to experience over again into your unconscious mind so you can recall it. Because your unconscious mind speaks through senses. And that's exactly the language of the lover, right? So if you wouldn't have the lover, you would have a really hard time accessing your unconscious mind. So that's the lover, really fun energy. Also building a high level of polarity to a man, right? Because it causes a state change. You can be just like all bubbly and fun and playful and maybe the queen and maybe the priestess, right? But if you bring in that slow energy, let's enjoy this breath, this moment. When you bring that in, that's going to be highly attractive to the right man. Now, if you want to learn more about how to make a man attracted to you, then hop on over to mymquiz.com. mymquiz.com. And if you haven't done so already, watch next. If a man deeply loves you, he will start saying these 5 things. Lots of love to you, ladies, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye-bye.